Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Murdoch DeFi YouTube channel. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a type of project that we haven't talked about for quite some time here on the channel, and that's going to be a tomb fork. But to get this out of the way right now, if you don't have experience in DeFi, you've never messed around with tomb forks or anything like that before, then just understand that it's very easy to lose money in tomb forks, right? There's a lot of gamification that goes into this. There's a lot of different ways that you can benefit from tomb forks, and there's also a lot of different ways to get wrecked with tomb forks. So I'm going to preface this video with, if you don't have the proper experience when dealing with different types of tomb forks, even in the past, or as of recent, with a lot of these tomb forks that have been going out on Arbitrum, which is the one we're going to be talking about today. Funny enough, just understand that these are extremely risky. So if you do decide to jump into a tomb fork, whether it's this one or others in the future, just understand that going into it, and make sure you really understand the ins and outs of tomb forks before, like I said, before you put money into them, because end of the day, they're extremely risky. There's tons of different ways that you can play them, though. So if you are someone that has maybe a little bit of a higher risk tolerance, then sure. But just understand that going into this video. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and we're going to jump into it. So the project that we're talking about today is AI-owned, or however else you want to pronounce it. And this is specifically a tomb fork on Arbitrum. Now, when we talk about tomb forks that have recently launched on Arbitrum, I believe that there's been two. The first one did extremely well. It blew up, made a lot of people money. That was not something that I was a part of. And then I believe Hope Finance was the other one, and they rugged. So just because it's on a different network or different L2 doesn't take any risk out of it or anything like that. So don't get that confused. However, with these guys, AI-owned, they did go ahead and get KYC'd. They do also have an audit too, which we'll get into. But in this video, I'm just going to be kind of reviewing their project, giving my 2 cents. And of course, everything is always transparent that we do here on the channel. So I'm going to give my full unbiased opinion of this type of protocol and see if it's something that I'm going to personally jump into myself. So, these are the types of videos where I'm kind of doing my own research along with you guys, showing you guys, how I choose to kind of gauge projects that I want to personally get into. So let's start with the basics. And of course, always the basics are going to be going through the documentation of this specific project. So quick overview. They are an AI-powered algorithmic seigniorage protocol, or basically they are a tomb fork that hopes to use some AI stuff, and we'll get into that, but essentially using AI to maintain the peg. And if you're not familiar with these types of tomb forks or tomb forks in general, you always want their token to be at or above the peg so that the boardroom is printing and you're able to earn a yield on whatever you have staked into the boardroom. Now, they are getting ready to launch the Genesis pools here in a couple hours, and notoriously Genesis pools have been things where you can make money on. I know when tomb forks were big, I would say maybe a year and a half ago, if I was trying to get into a tomb fork, I was typically only interested in getting into the Genesis pools, making my money, and get out before things get crazy. Now, with the addition of using like this AI-powered algorithmic thing that they're going to be using to keep their peg token at peg, we'll see how that does. Again, like there's a lot of unknowns in this, right? But competitive advantages: peg supporting trading mechanics, automated arbitrage systems, AI optimized tokenomics, and then of course anti-bot security. And the anti-bot security is probably, I would imagine, going to be geared towards the launch, just to make sure they have a smooth and successful launch. So timeline, they did already have the pre-sale for the whitelist, and that was filled. So they had a total pre-sale raise of 25 ETH. So just keep that in the back of your mind too. I think it's always important to understand that as well. So if you didn't have a chance to get in on a pre-sale, then that's that complicates things a little bit more in terms of like risk and how you want to choose to play things. Because if there's 25 ETH worth of pre-sale tokens that were pushed out, or that will be pushed out when the token actually launches, then that kind of can change the dynamics of the price of the tokens, right? Obviously. Genesis pools, February 27th, which is today at 6 p.m. UTC. So in about 90 minutes or so here, the Genesis pools will be opening. Reward pools on March 1st at 6 p.m. UTC. And then finally, they are going to be opening the boardroom on March 2nd, 6 p.m. UTC. So autonomous algorithmic seigniorage. If you're not in for tech, you're in the right place, but this is crypto. Getting to the point. So both in life and crypto, the aim of the game isn't always to be the most innovative, the flashiest, or even the first. Finding an edge, developing a winning strategy, and executing it successfully has the potential to be just as impactful as being a pioneer. Many have struck gold by taking an already successful model, improving it, and capitalizing on that success, which I totally agree. However, when we talk about tomb forks, really, are there any tomb forks that are around that launched a year and a half ago? The answer is no, at least to my knowledge, right? So just kind of take that with a grain of salt too, that typically these types of protocols end up dying out. But I do know a lot of people that have made quite a bit of money in the beginning stages of tomb forks and stuff like that. Now we get into using AI and what makes them, different from other tomb forks in here in a second. But the Tomb protocol, Tomb.finance, was the originator. That was on Phantom. It's been forked countless of times, gaining legendary status in DeFi and the wider crypto community. These forks have come in various guises, with the most successful making their investors very, very happy. And like I said, in the early stages when these forks were kind of going on, and it was crazy too, because I would say that this was towards the end of the bull market when these things really started to pop up. But it was just like anything else, right? It got to a point where it was just so saturated. People really understood them. People understood how to take advantage of these protocols, make their money, and get out. This is why I personally would only jump into Genesis pools upon launch, and then take my funds and get out, because things typically get kind of crazy, right? When we're dealing with the token not being at peg and all this stuff, right? It's very easy to lose money. So they said they've studied countless variations of the protocol, taken the best and most successful elements and added our own considerable salt-based sprinkle to develop something fresh. That's funny. Innovative and timely, taking inspiration from ChatGPT and the many recent AI advancements. We've leveraged the power of AI and have combined it with a new and improved adaptation of a familiar tomb mechanic. With the substantial tech on one hand and sizable earning potential on the other, this might well be the only time you get to the tomb fork in the road, and can go both ways. Cool. So distinguishing factors from other tomb forks, as they've kind of talked about, is the AI-assisted algorithmic seigniorage protocol developed on the foundations of the original tomb. Our protocol boasts several competitive advantages. So PEG supporting trading mechanics via a proprietary AI-TS model, automated arbitrage system. So their AI intelligence, their AI assisted trading system executes trades between the different liquidity pools and funds their PEG support. So it kind of sounds like what they're doing. And I think the word AI is kind of just a buzzword right now. But I would relate what they're doing just based on reading their documentation. I would relate that similar to something that Horde did with their price sustainability or their peg support, where they're just arbitraging to keep that price similar. The only problem is that takes a lot of money, right? It takes a lot of money to be able to buy and sell those dips to keep the price sustainable, and especially if we're talking about a peg token here. So I'm kind of curious to see how that unfolds and how they're able to maintain the price of the peg token. Anti-bot security. So our anti-bot measures, anti-sniper bot measures have, or to ensure a smooth and successful launch. Again, this is kind of what I was thinking. Anti-front-running bot measures to protect our investors during normal protocol operations. And then AI optimized tokenomics. We have optimized our tokenomics and parameterization by running multiple simulations to ensure a stable and secure, sustainable platform. Well, we will see, right? So their intelligence-assisted trading system, the importance of maintaining the peg. So the maintaining peg is vital for our protocol health, as it determines whether each epoch will be expansionary or contractionary. Put simply, maintaining peg makes your investment more profitable. Again, because as long as they can maintain peg, they can keep the boardroom open, and it can continue to print. Protocols have developed various means to ensure peg is maintained, but it is no easy feat. And again, this is something that costs them money, right? It costs a lot of money to be able to maintain a peg, because like I said, you're essentially having to buy up the dips and then sell down the pumps, right? So their strategy, we have developed a proprietary intelligence-assisted trading system. This system constantly scans the market for arbitrage opportunities within the native token of our platform, automatically executing a trade when an opportunity is found. The profits from these trades will then be used to support our ETH pegged AIOMB token. So their peg token is pegged to ETH, and I don't know if we'll get into the tokenomics, but we'll get into if it's one-to-one pegged or not. They also include some bridging guides to how to get funds over, let's just say from any ERC20 network over to Arbitrum. I believe you could use Uniswap and Aave. I think that's what they were kind of going over here in this video. I did watch it a little bit because for me, I'm not somebody that has ventured on Arbitrum at all, really. And I know that Arbitrum is doing quite well in the DeFi space right now. Lots of things are starting to be built. Sidebar, I don't know if you guys seen, but Coinbase has their own layer 2 coming out and will be EVM compatible, and people will start being able to build projects over there. So very, very interesting to see what comes of that when they launch. I believe it's called Base. But let's get into the launch details. So here is, if you're somebody that got into the pre-sale, here is the information regarding pre-sale and how those tokens vest. This is also important information if you did not get into the pre-sale and you plan to jump into this, because it's important for you to take all this information into account when you're looking at how you're going to play this tomb fork. So pre-sale tokens will be linearly vested. Pre-sale participants will be airdropped 1.5% of their pre-sale tokens every hour until completion. So just know that, sure, in the very, very early hours, these pre-sale guys won't have a ton of tokens because they're vested 1.5% every hour. But if you extrapolate that over, I guess between the time the Genesis pool launches and the time that the boardroom opens, pre-sale participants are going to have quite a bit of vested tokens by then. So just keep that in mind in the back of your head. The airdrop will begin at Epoch 3, 3 epochs after the boardroom opens, and run for 11 epochs. Oh, okay. So their airdrop don't even get started until the boardroom opens. Interesting. Cool. So then never mind what I just said. Therefore, pre-sale tokens will be claimable 18 hours after the boardroom starts. Cool. Still, it's important to understand that as well. I do like the fact that they're vesting these tokens 1.5% every hour. Conversely, instead of just giving all the tokens up front at once, right? So Genesis pools, like I said, they're starting the 27th, which is today, just in a couple hours, and they're going to be going until March 1st at 6 p.m. UTC. During this period of time, early investors will earn additional AIOMB for providing liquidity on a given pair. And it looks like they have 4 different pools that you'll be able to jump into. So you have the AIOMB and like wrapped Ethereum pool, and that's weighting at 71% of the total emissions. So total emissions, they have 12,500 AIOMB tokens to deliver, but it's going to be more so dependent on which pool you decide to get into. But you could be able to come in here, stake your USDC, and get access to 14% of those emissions, essentially. And then once the Genesis pools stop, then you can choose what to do with those AIOM tokens that you now have, right? You can either pair those and then take your rewards and stake those in the boardroom and then start to earn more. There's a bunch of different ways to play this. Like, this is not a breakdown of how to interact directly with a tomb fork, because there's a lot of gamification that goes on behind the scenes or in your head on how you want to play this. They have a couple of other different tokens too. They have the ZYB token, 7% of the weight, and the AIOM USDC pair with another 7% of the weight. Obviously, the majority of liquidity is going to be going into these 2 pools here. And for myself, what I would do is I would probably just go in and take the less riskier route and go in with USDC, right? Because if you're pairing AIOM and wrapped ETH, then, you know, depending on the prices over the next couple of days, it could subject you to impermanent loss, right? Because you're playing with essentially that liquidity pool or that liquidity pair. So Genesis pool for protocols have a 0% deposit fee, which is awesome. Adding and removing liquidity will be charged 1%. So just understand that. If you go to add liquidity to this, you're going to be charged 1%. But once you deposit those LP tokens, there's a 0% deposit fee. Genesis pools are Genesis pools on third-party tokens. So the Zyber token or USDC will be charged 2% deposit fee to reward protocol-friendly behavior. The USDT and Zyber pool have a 2% deposit fee. The LPs have no deposit fee. So these would be the LPs. However, if you just want a single-sided stake, there is some deposit fees associated with those 2 pools. Taxes on AIOM have been deactivated and not overcharge our investors. So the boardroom, after the Genesis period, the non-native pools will become removed and the boardroom will begin printing after a 24-hour cooldown period. So Genesis pools end, 24 hours later, the boardroom goes ahead and opens up. During this cooldown, the regular farm will be open and will begin printing the AI share token. And again, these protocols typically have 3 different tokens. They have their peg token, which is going to be the AIOM token. And again, that is pegged to Ethereum or wrapped Ethereum on Arbitrum. And then you also have the AI share, and then typically you would have the AI bond token, which I don't know if they're doing a bond. Let's get a little bit into it a little bit more. Zyber swap. Zyber holders can single stake their Zyber and Genesis pools to earn AIOM. Our Genesis pools launched February 27th, and we already know about that. So the token system, right? So here you can see they have a 3 token system. They have their peg token, and it's the peg for the AIOM token is 1,000 to 1. So just kind of keep that in mind too when you're looking at the numbers here on the actual website, when those go ahead and pop up when everything is live. The AI share has a total supply of 38,000. During expansionary epochs, the protocol mints AIOM and distributes it proportionally to all shareholders, to all AI shareholders who have staked their tokens in the boardroom. So that's how you make money with this, right? You're going to want to essentially take your AI Ohm token and let's see, distributes proportionally to all AI shareholders who have staked their tokens in the boardroom. Tokenomics, 30K for rewards, 4K for treasury and PegBot, 4K for development and marketing, and vested linearly over 300 days. So the AI bond maintains a purpose to incentivize changes in AI Ohm supply during epoch contraction period, when the TWAP, time-weighted average price of AI Ohm, man, these are really hard to say. AI Ohm falls below the peg, right? So the 1 to 100 or 1 to 1,000 ETH AI bonds are issued and can be bought with AI Ohm at the current price. But just know, if the peg ever falls below that 1 to 1,000, then the boardroom will stop printing. It will stop paying out more of the AI Ohm token. So just understand that. Different ways to earn. There are 3 different ways to participate in the protocol. So you can stake an equal amount of Ohm and ETH, 1 to 1, in the LP to earn the AI share token. Stake an equal amount of AI share and ETH in the boardroom to earn AI Ohm. So typically what you would do if you were somebody that got in on a Genesis pool with this, so let's just say we wanted to go ahead and stake our USDC in the Genesis pool, and we're essentially earning free AI Ohm tokens during that Genesis period. Well, once the Genesis pool ends, what you could do is you could sell 50% of the AI Ohm and, swap it for Ethereum. And then you take your AI Ohm that's left over and that Ethereum, and you put it into the LP, and then you stake that in the AI Ohm / ETH LP. You earn AI share, and then you could be able to stake your AI share in the boardroom to earn more AI Ohm, and that is kind of like the way that you continuously print money. You can purchase also AI bond during the contraction phase. Again, this will only be available if the share or the peg token falls below the peg, right? So during that period is called the contraction phase and can be redeemed during the expansion phase. So you can redeem those AI bond tokens once it gets back up to peg. But the whole point of this protocol is to have their AI or assisted trading system that maintains the peg, right? That's the whole benefit of this, right? Because as long as the peg token stays at or above peg, like we don't want it way up, but as long as it stays close to at or just a little bit above peg, then it should be good, right? But who knows? This is like I said in the beginning, this is inherently risky. Just because it says this stuff on paper doesn't mean that it is actually going to perform like it describes here in the documentation when everything is up and running and live, right? Like we already know that. So the platform, you have the reward pools where you can stake your liquidity pairs to earn AI share. These reward pools these pools reward you with additional AI share ownership in the protocol for providing liquidity. And then once you have your AI share tokens, you can go to the boardroom where you stake AI share to earn the peg token again, AI Ohm. And then once you've accumulated enough AI Ohm token, again, you could just sell half of that for Ethereum, pair it back with AI Ohm, and then come back into the boardroom with the AI shares that you've made. Again, peg is equal to 1,000 AI Ohm or equal to 1 Ethereum. An epoch is the duration of time. In this case, their epoch duration is 6 hours. Epochs are used for timing events such as reward payouts and locking periods. Let's see. I'm sure that they will have more information on the locking system, because that's an important component of this too, right? Like if you do decide to get into the boardroom, then typically those are locked for multiple epochs. Like those AI share tokens will be locked for multiple epochs. So just kind of keep that in mind too when you're rolling through there. Taxation to ensure a strong and healthy protocol. The following taxes will be applied. So they have some taxes associated with the AI Ohm and the AI share token. However, if you are getting into the Genesis pool, then just know that you're getting these without the buy and sell tax. So just take that into account. So AI Ohm, if you're just to buy it on open market, 1% buy, 1% sale, and then the AI share token, 3% buy, 3% sell tax. For the protocol to operate successfully, shares/boardroom seats should be held, not swing traded. Our considerable emissions will mitigate the effects of the tax for those that use protocol as intended. The majority of the tax will be circulated back into the protocol via our automatic peg trading system. So they're using these tax structures, these tax systems to help maintain the peg. So that is their plan, right? They're using those funds so that the automated peg trading system can then be able to buy up or sell down the token to keep it right at peg. They have some more information in terms of like their expansion table and stuff like that. They have some information on the team. Again, they are audited and KYC'd, which is good to see. Now, granted, I don't know too much about OX Guard. It does say that they've checked the IDs of the CEO and verified their identity. But outside of that, and I might actually reach out to OX Guard and just get an idea of their KYC process, because for me, I think that that's good information to know and have based on any specific project that we're talking about, right? And then here is a link to their audit as well. Their final report, all that stuff. But let's go through here a little bit. Review this project as a Tomb Finance fork, allowing users to farm the AI Ohm token and the A share tokens, ERC20 standard tokens. Both reward pools contracts may charge up to a 2% for each deposit, and we've already kind of been over that. So single-sided staking is going to be subjected to that 2% deposit fee. So here we go. I'm just trying to check these audits, see how it's all passed. Okay, so it looks like everything passed and nothing came back as critical or anything like that. So that's good to see. But let me know what you guys think about Tomb forks. And I think that they might be seeing a resurgence based on some of the information that people have learned over the past, I don't know, almost a year now. To hopefully make these a little bit better. But I'm going to be paying close attention to AI Ohm and debating on whether or not I want to jump in the Genesis pools. Like I said, if I do, I'll probably end up only going into this single-sided USDC staking pool just because it's a little bit less risky in my opinion. We're not subjected to impermanent loss and things like that because we're not putting up liquidity into an LP. That being said, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.